Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel and my first ever video on this channel. I'm just really excited that I'm finally doing this. I've been talking about it forever and finally we're doing this and it's just gonna be really great. Specifically with this series that I'm doing called Serving Face, I'm gonna be reviewing makeup done by Rupaul's Drag Race girls and giving you an insight on just kind of the do's and don'ts that they're doing, because I find that someone I get inspiration from is Robert Welsh, who has made an entire series where they review influencers and also TikTok trends and like kind of giving a professional opinion about that. And as a professional makeup artist myself that has been doing this for 7 years, I feel like there's just not that discussion being made for drag specifically. And that's something I'm very passionate about. It's something I've been doing for many years, and I've taught classes for drag queens. I've also done classes for trans women and stuff like that as well. And I just have a lot of insight when it comes to, female illusion and also feminization makeup in general. As a quick disclaimer, this is not gonna be a tea channel, so this is not gonna be me inciting hate towards other queens or starting drama. I will get passionate from time to time because there is a lot of mistakes that queens make all the time and recommend for you guys to try. And I want to be able to break down those misinformations and be able to give you real hard-hitting facts from a professional standpoint and not from someone who has learned it from their drag mother or from so on and so forth. I don't want to incite hate or drama to those queens because they're just doing what they've been taught and they're just working as professional artists, but they're not makeup artists. And so obviously there is a difference between those two. And I have a different viewpoint than what a drag queen would necessarily have if that's all they've ever done. Overall, this channel is going to be a place for, skincare, makeup, product review, potentially tutorials if you guys would like me to do so. All right, let's get started with episode 1 of Serving Face. I do need to get into my work uniform. I'll be right back. Oh my God.
Who is she?
That's mean. You're mad because I'm pretty. Oh my God. I honestly feel like the prettiest girl in the world right now. And speaking of gorgeous, gorgeous girls, this first episode is dedicated to Miss Fame. Miss Fame is a world-renowned makeup artist as well as a female illusionist. She got her start in New York and was scouted out in the club scene for fashion and editorial looks. From there, she started her YouTube channel in 2013, showing off her iconic looks, became an instant viral sensation, and then competed on season 7 of Rupaul's Drag Race. The reason I chose her is because she has a very special place in my heart, and she's also the reason why I do makeup at all. When I was just starting out in makeup, I was doing it as a hobby. I didn't even think I was gonna be doing drag, to be honest. Eventually, I popped up a Miss Fame video on YouTube and I was instantly hooked. And I had the thought process in my head, just thinking to myself, like, if I'm gonna be doing makeup, I have to put all my time and effort into this if I'm gonna even remotely do anything similar to what Miss Fame's doing. And from there, I started my career and I've been doing it for 7 years. And I've just had so many milestones, being able to work with some of the most incredible people, being able to compete on season 1 of Painted with Raven. And now I'm sitting here on my YouTube channel, being able to discuss these things and being able to come from a place of education and kind of doing what inspired me from her to you guys, like being able to educate, being able to help inspire you guys to continue what you're doing and hope that you grow from these videos. All right, so let's go into the video. I pulled up one of their more recent makeup looks. I wanted to find something that was showing just kind of like the quintessential Miss Fame look, but something that's obviously updated and something that they currently do, just so we have something to comment on that's not like from 7 years ago. So let's get started. I'm gonna stop it right there just so then we can talk about the eyebrow part real quickly. She used alcohol to disinfect the brows, and then she went in with Elmer's glue stick to obviously glue them down. Probably did about 2 to 3 layers of that. And then powdered it down after it was set. And then once it has been done, put on TV paint stick, probably in 4W, powdered it down again, and now she's going in with eyeshadow. I will say that eyebrows are one of those things that's gonna take a long time to perfect. Don't feel too overwhelmed and just know that this is not an easy thing to learn, and it takes a long time in practice to kind of learn what works for you. I will be listing a video down below from Pearl that is a very educational video and how I personally do my own eyebrows. So hopefully that will be helpful for you guys if you do need a more thorough tutorial and understanding how to glue down eyebrows. Obviously she's well known for using cream pencils and lip liners and things like that to create her shape before she goes in with powders. And what I will say is that this is not a bad idea. However, it is a very advanced way to do makeup this way. It's not really beginner friendly. I would suggest going in with just eyeshadows at first and starting that first before you work into something like this. The glue is obviously not meant to be on eyebrows. Like Elmer's glue stick was not designed for eyebrows. And so it's very temperamental. It's easy to rip holes into. It's easy to kind of disrupt the glue itself, even if you're using just eyeshadow. So you just want to be very careful and kind of learn how glue works and how you can apply makeup on top of glue. Obviously, using a cream pencil is one way to create that backdrop. I also would recommend liquid lipsticks as well, just because it's a water-based product. It's easy to obviously just glide on and be able to blend it out really quickly. They dry down really fast as well. I usually use them for eyebrows, which I'm using today, just because I feel like they're a little easier to draw on the skin, especially because pomades are usually too thick, or lip liners can sometimes be a little thick too. So that's my personal recommendation. Everyone has their own method and their own way to do things. This just happens to be one of them, and it is a really great way to do it if you do choose to do that. You don't really need like a super heavy full coverage foundation to get full coverage. I think that there's simplicity in layering. So with what they're doing, for example, they're using foundation as just a base, which is what it is designed for, is just to get rid of the redness and kind of correct those areas. And then from there, they're just using spot correction with the Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage Concealer just to conceal what they need to conceal. They use that YSL concealer also to brighten specific areas because it's very lightweight, but it has a nice reflection to it. If you cake on a lot of cream products, it emphasizes textures, and it will also look cakier as time goes on. Whereas if you just do a wash of color and a very light amount of foundation and concealer. I like to go in with foundation powders after and things like that. That tends to reinforce the coverage as well as keep the layers pretty thin. But also it just helps to make sure that the makeup looks a little bit more skin-like as opposed to wearing a mask kind of a look. Makeup like that tends to last longer and also look better for much longer periods of time. And also it's less makeup to remove later in the night anyway. I would say in general, baking is something that I wouldn't encourage for anyone. Baking tends to dry out makeup, and it dries out the skin as well, which can lead to cakiness, especially if your skin just tends to run more dry anyway. And also I find that because makeup has advanced so much in the market, I don't feel like baking is necessary as much anymore. I feel like there was a time for this, but that time's kind of run out, and there's just much better methods to get this look without drying out your makeup. However, if you are gonna be doing baking, this is how you should do it. Like a very small amount of powder. They're putting it in specific areas just to kind of refine the edges of like the nose contour, the cheekbones, brightening up the under eye a little bit. If you do want to achieve this look but not necessarily bake, I would recommend doing, this is a method from Jordan Liberty as well as Jackie Aina that also popularized this. But when you go in with your moisturizer, make sure it's conditioned on the skin. And then after that, go in with your primer. After your primer has been laid down and everything has settled on the skin, go in with a light amount of translucent setting powder just in the areas that you tend to get a little bit more oily. That creates a barrier between your skin and the oils that produce naturally, and it kind of makes the makeup last a little bit longer. That was a method I actually did for Pride season last year because, as we remember, last year was crazy with the summer heat. The venue that I was performing at, it was super hot, no air conditioning, no nothing. I was performing with Jada Essence Hall and we were both dying.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
But if you are gonna be doing a method to get that kind of a matte look without making your makeup look cakey, that's the one I would personally suggest, but this is also fine too. Just be very careful with how much powder you put down, because the more you layer on, the more dry it's gonna make your makeup, and it's gonna cause other issues later down the road. When it comes to highlighter, I find that it's obviously that battle of like, you want to look glowy, but you don't want to emphasize texture. And so using your finger is actually a really great way to kind of avoid excess texture, because you're pinpointing the highlight in specific areas. What I would recommend as well, especially if you're going to be using a lot of powders and a lot of layering, you can set your face first with like a MAC Fix Plus or just something high in glycerin, just to kind of like condition the skin and make sure that there's not a lot of powders sitting there. Because if you go in with all this powder there, the highlighter doesn't really stick there as well. So I like to do a setting spray first just to make sure that the skin's conditioned. Once my skin has dried down, then I will go in with a highlighter. You can use your finger, you can use a brush, whatever you prefer, but using a finger sometimes works a lot better. That's just with any part of makeup, whether it's concealer, whether it's blush, like your fingers can sometimes be better than an expensive brush. So feel free to use your fingers. Prozaid is a little aggressive, I think, for the eye area. I mean, obviously it's waterproof, water resistant, sweat resistant. Like, this stuff makes sure that things stay on. The eye area in general is just so thin and so sensitive that this can cause issues if you especially don't take it off properly. I know that she takes it off the way that you're supposed to. She, gets the remover, she goes in with a Q-tip, and that's how you're supposed to remove it. But I know that majority of you are probably gonna rip off, rhinestones and whatever lashes. If you do wanna use Prozaid, just make sure that you are removing it properly by getting the remover in with a little bit of a Q-tip, loosen up the glue, and then peel it off, just so then you're not ripping your skin off. Last things to note real fast, obviously she's very well known for her face tapes. It's what gives her that lift and it looks so gorgeous. I would only recommend this for like special occasions, like photo shoots and things like that, because that's kind of what it was meant for. For long periods of time, like if you're wearing it for hours, I would not recommend that. It's gonna cause damage for your skin. It will cause pre-wrinkles and things like that. And if you're removing it improperly, you will also be ripping off skin and hair, which is also a huge problem as well. Just make sure that if you are gonna be doing it, you're removing it properly. Tip I would say just for anyone, I would learn how to paint your face as if it had a facelift, because it avoids the skin problem altogether. This is nice for special occasions, but you don't want to rely on something like that. Other than that though, obviously she's perfection and incredible. She's a really great, reliable source when it comes to knowing how to do very fierce makeup. And out of all the queens that I know from RuPaul's Drag Race that has competed and has their makeup looks, this is by far one of my favorite drag queens. Obviously, I have very minor little critiques, I would say, for beginners and people getting into makeup as well. So that wraps up episode 1 of Serving Face. I hope that you enjoyed and learned a lot from this video. If you do have any other RuPaul's Drag Race girls that you do want to see, or just other people in general, it could be celebrities, it could be influencers, whatever you want, I'm down to go and do reviews on other makeup looks as well. Make sure that you comment those down below, as well as subscribe so you can go and see those videos when they do get uploaded. And I want to thank you so much for coming to this video, and I hope you have a great day. Bye guys.